Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for being here, and happy Easter, this wonderful Easter day. And it's certainly a nice day out here, so that's great. And we're going to kick off with the lighting of our candle. And perhaps remember that it tells us in John, because we're talking about new life today, it says, what has come into being in him was life. And the life was the light of all people. The life was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. So as we light our candles, let's just think about that. Let's think about the light that shines in the darkness, and the light. The light is the life in all people. That light that's always present, that's always with us. We start, as we often do, with our opening affirmation. I am now in the presence of pure being, immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge God's presence and power, which through divine wisdom within me erases my mortal limitations and brings forth the pure substance of love, the pure substance of love into our world through us all, according to God's perfect law. So today, may each one of us be blessed with renewal. May each one of us be resurrected to complete wellness in heart, in body, in mind, and in spirit. May hope, freedom, happiness, love, togetherness, and prosperity abound anew for all. May today be a fresh new start, and may each one of us feel and know the meaning of the resurrection within us. And so let's give thanks. Give thanks for this time together, for each of our journeys in unity. Let's give thanks for those who are contributing to today's service, for the musicians who have produced the songs that we will share, and for the grace of God that meets our every need, and for new life. Amen. And in this new life, we want to follow the direction of our dreams. And so we're going to have a song by Michael Gott, Move in the Direction of Your Dreams.
Don't you think you owe it to yourself to look inside of you and take the time to realize what you are here to do? Don't you think the time has finally come to stand and face the fire, to walk into the blazing sun and claim your heart's desire? You were placed upon this earth with a mission to complete, and now the time has come, so stand up strong and claim your destiny. You must move in the direction of your dreams and act as if they've already come true. Even when there is no hope, or so it seems, move in the direction of your dreams. Do you think that you're not good enough to be a shining star? Or do you think because the road that you won't get that far? Do you believe that only some are great and others left for chance? Or maybe that it's just too late, a futile circumstance? You were placed upon the earth with a mission to complete, and now the time has come, so stand up strong and claim your destiny. You must move in the direction of your dreams and act as if they've already come true, even when there is no hope, or so it seems. Move in the direction of your dreams, and when the world feels like it's crashing all around you, and the clouds of doubt are darkening your day, well then just be still and know that there's something deep within you that will always know the way. You must move in the direction of your dreams and act as if they've already come true, for even when there is no hope, or so it seems, move in the direction of your dreams. Move in the direction of your dreams.
Today, Sunday, April 20th, 2025, and the words are new life. The affirmation is, Easter calls me to new life. Easter is the dawning of hope and promise of resurrection and new life. Today, we celebrate the victory of divine love, new life, and the resilience of our overcoming nature. Everything is made new through the dynamic power and glory of the Christ within us. We are freed from fear and limitation. We release them into the radiant light of the risen Christ. We are lifted up with the resurrection of Easter into a new awareness of life. Our hearts and souls are transformed by the living spiritual truth that nothing is impossible with God. My heart feels full as I embrace the power and grace of this new life. The message of Easter blesses us today and throughout all the seasons of renewal. We rise in the knowledge that life never ends. As we celebrate the glory of Easter, Christ in us is risen. The scripture reading is John chapter 11, verse 25. I am the resurrection and the life. Thank you.
It's a new day, it's a new life, and I'm feeling good. And now Rita is going to take us into the Lenten booklet reading, which is all about a reason to believe in this life.
And the Lenten reading was written by the Reverend Teresa Burton. A reason to believe in life. At the end of every growing season, as the days shorten and the air cools, the garden withers. Flowers droop and lose their colour. Lush vegetation dries out before turning brittle. The garden dies. Before there can be a new garden in that space, the old vegetation will be cleared out, and in its place will be barren earth. Rains may come, even frost and snow, and new life may feel far away. But the days will once again grow longer, the air warm, And it will be time to imagine new life growing in that space, verdant and bountiful. The process begins again, the planting, the tending, and the nurturing of the new garden. Doesn't this describe the cycle of loss, the void, and the new life that plays out in so many ways over the course of our lives? We rarely determine the timetable, but we can trust the process. We can take comfort in the Easter story and find inspiration in the example Jesus left for us. He led an important, impactful life on earth, but Jesus' greatest gift was given to us when he left the earthly plane. He demonstrated the fullness of his divinity and promised that we may know our own. Like a garden that bears its fruit in season, Jesus left us with his teachings, his example to emulate, and his message of love and peace to bring into the world. Like the garden that eventually stops growing and withers, Jesus' life earthly mission reached its end when his body died. But just as those who found the empty tomb realized, we can discover that life is eternal even as form changes. Throughout our ongoing and sometimes overlapping cycles of loss, void, and renewal, the Easter story gives us reason to believe in life. We see the cyclic nature of a garden's growth, planting, tending, harvesting, dying. The impermanence of physical life need not scare us or keep us from living fully. Indeed, it is a call to life, a call to reap and sow, and to be present to all life has to offer. When we can do that, we can better know the glory of the resurrection, calling us to the promise of new life.
New life, it's all about new life, and it's about this believing in the new life. It's not enough just to think about it, it's about belief. Heaven has been opened. I am alive in you. Heaven has been opened. And after a period of Lent, that's important, isn't it? I mean, Lent has always been about giving up things. And, you know, when I was growing up, Easter was simply the end of Lent. And that was really all it meant to me. You know, I was young, mother always wanted us to give up something, so we'd give up something. And it was interesting, the word Lent actually comes from the word lengthen. And it was kind of long, wasn't it? When you're young, 40 days plus the Sundays of giving something up, and suddenly you got it back again. And that's what Easter was. And it meant nothing more than that. But now it does. And I've tried so far in this service, just keep reinforcing this message of new life. Because really, that is what Easter is about. It's about new life. And as Rita read so beautifully in the Lenten booklet, I just want to read that last paragraph again. Throughout our ongoing and sometimes overlapping cycles of loss, void, and renewal, the Easter story gives us reason to believe in life. To believe in life. We see the cyclic nature of a garden's growth, planting, tending, harvesting, dying. The impermanence of physical life need not scare us. Isn't that the message of the crucifixion? The impermanence of this physical life doesn't matter. We all know people that have passed. We've all experienced that loss. But it doesn't need to scare us because life, real life, goes on. And it doesn't need to keep us from living fully. As it says, indeed, it's a call to life, to live the life we've got, a call to reap and sow and to be present to all life has to offer, to be present to it, to live in the now. When we can do that, we can better know the glory of the resurrection, calling us to the promise of new life. And we've all lost things in the past. I remember years ago, and I'm not going to go into detail because I've done it before, but, you know, I lost my job 10 years ago. But the new life was then I sort of found my way back into unity and, you know, over a journey of become a minister and I'm able to do these things I do today. So that new life happened. I could never have predicted it, but that new life happened. That new life actually was always there. But we get a caution as well, because it talks about loss, void, and renewal. And I've done a talk before on Ellen Davenport's book, Hell in the Hallway, and she makes the point that we live our lives in a room. We get comfortable in that room and we have a great time in that room. But for some reason, either through choice or through change of circumstances, we find ourselves kicked out of the room into the hallway until we find another room. And that hallway is what we're referring to here as the void. We've lost the old room. We find ourselves in a void. And Ellen asks us not to get content with the void, because it's very easy. It's very easy to get content with the void and not move into that new room, that new life. And this to me is the move from Lent into Easter. We transition from the giving up to the new. Here we are on Easter Day, celebrating the new. And as Angus told us in Daily Word, Easter calls me to a new life. That was the affirmation. Easter calls me to a new life. Easter is the dawning of hope and promise of resurrection and new life. My heart feels full as I embrace the power and grace of this new life. As I celebrate the glory of Easter, Christ in me is risen. It's always there. It isn't new in the sense of the Christ in me is new. It's my awareness of it is new, that I bring my awareness, and that's the rising of it. And of course, we have that wonderful reading from John, I am the resurrection and the life. And this was at the time of Lazarus, and you probably all know the story of Lazarus, but just read a little bit more of that. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went and met him. She went and met him. She got on the front step. She didn't wait for Jesus. She didn't wait for the Christ. She went out and met the Christ. And Martha said to Jesus, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now I know that God will give you whatever you ask of him. Now think of that belief, that trust, complete belief that whatever Jesus asked for, God was going to give him. But even now, Jesus said to her, your brother will rise again. And Martha said to him, I know he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day. She thought it was all going to have to wait until the last day when all would be resurrected into life. Then Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. John is full of the I am statements. It might be better written actually as I am is the resurrection and the life. Because I am is the name of God from the Hebrew scriptures. And I don't think anywhere in the Gospels Jesus actually says that he is God. I think what he was saying to her at that point was, God is the resurrection of the life. The Christ within me is the resurrection and the life. The Christ within each of us is the resurrection of the life. Those who believe in me, even though they die, will live. And everyone who lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this? She said to him, yes, Lord, I believe. It's all about that belief. If we have that belief, then all things are possible. All things are true. In the book Keep a True Lent, I looked in there to see what it meant. Although it's mainly about Lent, it also talks about Easter. And Charles talks in there about Easter Day being a day of imagination. And it's about carrying out ideas that the I am reflects into the imagination. Calling out the ideas that the I am reflects into the imagination. It's about a word that Kimry uses all the time, allowing. If we allow it in, then it's ours, provided we believe. So what is Easter? Easter's a time of change. It's a time of moving on. is letting the old die. Jesus's body died. But that wasn't the point. The point was the old can die because the new comes through when the old dies. If you read the story in Mark, Mark probably gives the best account of the timing of everything that happened in terms of that last week. Mark really doesn't regard the disciples very highly at all. But we're told in Acts that the Spirit came upon them. The Spirit came upon them and they went on and did all of the things Jesus was doing. They changed. The old died. They changed. They became anew. And we can do the same thing. But, and there's always a big but, provided we choose to do it. It's so easy to just stay doing and being who and what I am today. I'm happy with who I am today. Why would I change? I've had a good Lent. I've given a few things up. Yeah, I've been a good lad. But that's not the point. The point at the end is to change. And what happens for us is what we give our power to. And there's a wonderful story about that. I have told it before, but it's not for some years. So one or two of you may have heard this before, but it's a wonderful story. Well, I think it is anyway. It's a story about a young Indian brave. And he was probably in his teens, growing up. And he had this sort of problem in his head. Couldn't make up his mind up what to do. He was conflicted. And as in all good stories, his granddad was the chief of the tribe. So we went off to see him. He said, "Granddad, I've got this problem. I've got this conflict going in my head and I don't know what to do." And so this old, wise chief sat his grandson down and said, "Okay, grandson, let me tell you something. And what you need to understand for this story is that in the tradition of the Indians in the southwest of America, wolves were very powerful. When Kira and I go to Arizona, which we do relatively frequently, everywhere there are stunning paintings of wolves, a statue of wolves. It really was seen as a powerful, very wise figure. And so the chief turns to his grandson and says, "On one shoulder, I've got this wolf. And this wolf says to me, 'You are a great chief. In fact, you're the greatest chief ever. What you should do is gather up your braves, go out to all the other villages and destroy them. And then you can take over the plains, and you will have the hunting grounds. They will be yours forever, and you will go down in history as the greatest chief that ever lived. But on this other shoulder, I've got another wolf, and he's saying, well, he's right. Yeah, you are a great chief. So what you should do is go and pull out your peace pipe and go round to all the other tribes, sit down and smoke the peace pipe with them and bring peace to the plains. And you should all come together as one mighty nation, and you can share the great hunting grounds and the plain, and you will be the greatest chief ever." Well, by now, the grandson had forgotten everything that he went in there for. His sort of jaw had bounced off the ground, he was totally gobsmacked. And he said, "So, Grandad, which wolf will win?" He said, "Grandson, whichever one I give my power to. Whichever one I give my power to." And in terms of power, I think there's an analogy, again, that I haven't used for a while, but I used to use, of a projector. If you think about a cinema, there's a projector and there's this source of light, this powerful source of light. And I think of that as the source of all being, the source that's there for all of us. And the light, of course, can only shine. It can't do anything else. It knows nothing else. The light but shines. And it projects through the projector an image onto a screen. And that screen is the screen in my mind. It's my life experience. That's the screen I see. Now, if you go back a decade or so, cinemas would project a film and the film would run through. But of course, every time you played the film, it was the same film. And we can do that in our minds. We can carry on playing the same film, and it will always be the same. However the circumstances may seem to change, we'll be showing the same film, and that's what we'll be seeing on the screen of our minds. But modern projectors are digital. They have a sort of a reticule thing in front of them, which is a bit like the image on your laptop or screen or whatever you're looking at, except you can shine through it and produce the picture. And whatever you feed into that reticule will produce the image on the screen. And we can control our reticule. We can control it. We can decide what's on there. We can decide to play the old movie, or we can play a new movie. We can choose that in every moment. Not just every day, as Nina Simone was saying, but in every moment, we can choose what we want to project. So the question really is, what is it I choose to give my power to? Which wolf in my mind am I going to support? Am I going to stay the same? Or am I going to move on to something new? New possibilities, new choices. And it doesn't have to be big. I'm not suggesting that you should suddenly walk out of here and become a completely new person. You can have a whole week for that. But it could be something small, like I'll update my spiritual practice. I will do something different. I will forgive. I let go of a past error that didn't serve me. In some way, I'll move on. Because you see, in every moment, as evangelical Christians would say, we can be born again. We can be born again in every moment. We can be new. And that's what Easter is about. It's another opportunity to be new, to be born again, provided we choose. Nina Simone said, it's a new life, it's a new day. I think she's got it the wrong way around. It's a new day, it's a new life, it's a new moment, it's a new life. I can always take that forward. And where I'd like to finish is by just having a short meditation. Now, meditations, quite often we sort of just sit in the quiet, don't we? Which is all very well. But anyone who's studied Emily Cady's stuff with me knows full well that what she refers to meditation as is active passivity. Active passivity. With a definite waiting on God. A definite waiting on God. So what I'd like us to do in going into meditation, and I'll take you in a second, is actively try and allow those messages to come through. Be really present. Not just sit there in the quiet, but really listen and focus. And I'm going to give you a short affirmation that we can use to take us into this. And you can repeat it in your mind if you wish to, or say it out loud if you wish to. And bearing in mind what I said before from Keep a True Lent, that it's all about taking an idea in our imagination that the I am reflects into us. And so this short, very short affirmative statement is, I welcome a new idea into my life. I welcome a new idea into my life. So if you'd like to just get yourselves comfortable, not too comfortable, sit upright, feel the back supporting you, feet on the ground. If it serves you to close your eyes, please do. And then just say to yourselves in your minds or out loud, however it serves you, perhaps 3 or 4 times, I welcome a new idea into my life. I welcome a new idea into my life. I welcome a new idea into my life. divine love expressing through me and as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and my awareness of all that I am, all that I receive. I hope in the meditation you genuinely did receive. And we finish with our peace song, as we always do. In our prayer for protection, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And please remember, new life. Easter is new life.